Hello and welcome to the studio. Yeah, my name is Clive from clive5art. Now, what I want to do, if you've come here from the actual video of Father Christmas, then I'm just going to explain to you why I'm actually decided to paint on paper today. But if you've come into this video first, I'm going to show you and explain to you why I'm painting on paper and the differences between paper and canvas very quickly. And then if you want to click on the iCards there, that's going to take you into the main video. In the descriptions below or at the end of this video, then there's the end card. So go right to the very end and you will see the clip for the video of Father Christmas, which we're going to be painting. Now, I want to discuss paper because as you know, I normally paint on canvas. So I thought I would do something different today because I've been asked to do that. And I need to explain the differences between canvas panels and paper. I'll do it very quickly for you. I'm actually using a 16 by 12, 100% acid free, 300 gram, there's 140 pound acrylic pad, and it's textured. This is a textured paper, and it's made by Galleria. But there are other makers out there, but I like Galleria, I like Windsor and Newton. That's my preferred range of paints and my preferred range of materials. And but as I said, there are others out there if you can't get hold of this particular one. As you see, we have got a nice plain paper, and it's got a little bit of a coating on it. It's got a little bit of a coating. Now the good thing about using paper is, be careful with grease spots by the way, the good thing about paper is you don't have to worry about the 40% rule. You don't have to worry about over thinning your paints. Because paper is a very absorbent material, paper, the pigment will actually stick into the paper fibres, whereas on canvas it won't do that. It'll only adhere to gesso and that type of thing. So you've got to be very careful when you're painting on canvas that you don't over thin your paints. But when you're painting on paper, whether it's on a canvas panel like this or even watercolour paper, then you can thin it down as much as you like. It shouldn't really worry, you shouldn't have to worry about it flaking away or anything. So you can thin it down as much as you want. Just use plain old conventional tap water. But what I do is I use boiled water. I let it cool and then I keep that in the studio because it doesn't go green, because I haven't got a water supply in here. So what I've done in this particular case is I've got my 16 by 12 canvas paper, and then I've gone ahead and drawn the outline of Father Christmas and Frosty the Snowman on that, and then I've given it a very, very thin coat, a very, very thin coat of gesso. Why? Well, because I like gesso and I like priming the surfaces of products that I'm going to be painting on, surfaces I'm going to be painting on. I like to prime them really well, and I find gesso, this is homemade. If you want to know how to make your own gesso, then please click in the iCards there. That will take you into a gesso recipe, and that will save you an absolute fortune on gesso because it's quite expensive. It's about £11 a litre, in fact. Well, you can make it a lot cheaper yourself. And whether I use paper or whether I use canvas or whether I use canvas panels, I always apply a coat of gesso. This is a very, very, very thin coat and still absorbed into the paper. The only time I don't use gesso is when I'm using watercolour paper. I'm trying to get a watercolour effect on watercolour paper. Then you don't need to put gesso on that. But anything like masonette, canvas panels, wooden panels, even papers like this, card, anything like that you want to paint on. You can paint on any surface you want as long as it's not shiny and as long as it's not greasy. That's the two main things you've got to remember. It's not too shiny and it's not too greasy. As long as you prepare it really well, with some gesso or primer, and you can use an aerosol can primer if you want to. Most canvases and canvas boards actually sprayed with an acrylic primer, which you can get like from a Motor Factors. You can go to a Motor Factors, get some spray acrylic primer in a tin. It comes in white, it can come in grey, and you can use that if you want to. Very, very quick way. Not as good as gesso though. Gesso has got calcium carbonate or chalk in it, and that way it gives you just a little bit of bite, just gives the paint something to adhere to, and that is simple as the preparation as that really. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied here today, but it doesn't matter. So I've just done an outline and I put a very thin coat of gesso, and that is my 16 by 12 acrylic paper pad by Galleria. So If you've just watched the video, I hope you've enjoyed that. If this is the first video you've come to before you watch that one, then click that iCard and don't forget the end cards as well, which is going to take you into this lesson. And I hope you have hours and hours of fun trying to do this with me. So until next time, bye, and I'll see you then.